Like now it's like I get like where like Tank side is coming from. Like I could see he's the biggest superstar in boxing. He's making the most money.
Shakur Stevenson gets raw and gets real on Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis and how he feels about Tank not wanting to fight for all the titles. We gonna talk about it in this video. I'm gonna play y'all the audio and let y'all hear all of what Shakur had to say. But before we do that, do me a favor and hit my like button and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subbed to the channel. Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia fight, man, it went down. It was epic. And I don't mean in the ring, but just the whole event. It was epic. And it was something that we ain't seen in the sport of boxing in a long time. And it has everybody in the sport of boxing, all of the media, all of the fighters, they still talking about it. You know what I'm talking about? Them boys put up big numbers. 1.4 million pay-per-view buys. We don't see that in the sport of boxing no more. So everybody's talking about it. And Shakur Stevenson, he had a lot to say about the whole event. He had a lot to say about Ryan Garcia, Gervonta Davis in that fight in itself. And we all know that Shakur, he don't hold his words back. And Shakur wants to smoke with everybody. But the funny thing is how everybody is always talking about how fighters and that media and everybody hates on Gervonta Davis. And personally, I feel that Gervonta Davis actually gets more praise from fighters and media than anybody do, especially other fighters. All the fighters are always giving Gervonta Davis his praise. Now, a lot of the things that he do as far as the stipulations and things like that and who he fight, people don't agree with it, but he still get all the praise in the world. You know, and Shakur Stevenson, he talked about that also. He talked about how, you know, how he feels Tank Davis. When people talk about when Tank says the belt don't matter and how Ryan Garcia was saying the belts don't matter, Shakur Stevenson said, man, I feel him. Real talk. Now that I'm older, I've been in the game a little bit longer, and I see how things is, I feel how he moving. Like, you know, the belts, like, why are we paying for these belts? What am I paying for something that I earned for? And so, you know, he talked about that in this recent interview. He also talked about the fight with Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis. And like I said, I'm going to play y'all the audio and I'm going to let y'all hear what he said. But he was talking about the fight. And he let it be known that he always thought that Ryan Garcia wasn't on that level. He says that, you know, he a cool fighter, but he never felt that Ryan Garcia was on the level of himself or Devin Haney or Gervonta Davis and all of the top guys that's at 130 or 135. He said he never looked at Ryan Garcia as that. And most people didn't. Before Ryan Garcia announced that he was fighting Gervonta Davis, nobody was giving Ryan Garcia credit as being on that level of even the Teofimo Lopez's. Everybody was saying that Ryan Garcia was the weakest link, but all of a sudden, you know, they start building the fight with him and Gervonta Davis, and all of a sudden, Ryan Garcia was the best of the best out there. He was the biggest threat to beat Gervonta Davis. Now, honestly, myself, I always felt that Ryan Garcia was a threat because of the things that he possessed, like the power and the speed. But other than that, you know, he really didn't have too much that he could show me as far as boxing skills and defense, and all of his flaws came out in that fight. And we saw that basically he wasn't on that level. And that's what Shakur Stevenson was saying. Shakur Stevenson said, look, man, that was just a lick for Gervonta Davis. He was a lick. And that's exactly what it was, because when we look at the whole landscape of the situation, when you go back and you look at long ago when they first started talking about wanting to fight Ryan Garcia, y'all got to realize Leonard Ellaby and Tank Davis and them, they started talking about that they wanted the Ryan Garcia fight way back in like 2019. Ryan Garcia hadn't even fought nobody at that point in time. This is before he fought Luke Campbell, you know, and they like, oh, Ryan Garcia. But Floyd Mayweather and Leonard Ellaby, they're great business minds. They know what's going to sell a lot, and that's all that was. It was a lick to sell a whole lot of pay-per-views, to get a whole lot of money, and that's exactly what they did, and they did it perfectly, you know, and they waited to the perfect time to do it. Now, Shakur Stevenson, like I said, he was actually giving Gervonta Davis props. He didn't have nothing bad to say about Tank. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let y'all hear what Shakur had to say about the whole situation. I'm going to play the audio. Then we're going to come back and we're going to cook on it.
But also, like, there was no titles on the line. Like, it just shows, like, the biggest fights can be made without belts.
Yeah, only thing that I just didn't agree with, I thought that it was one elite level fighter fighting, and the other one just wasn't. Like, you know, he just wasn't on that level. Like, it was like, you know, he was a lick. It was like a lick. Like, you feel me? It's like somebody that he got all the followers and all the, like, the marketing to make for a big fight, but as far as like skill, it's like shit. Once you get in there, it's just you and him. The followers can't fight for him. It ain't no Instagram followers can fight for him. So when I seen that, I just, you know, I like the fight though. It was a good fight.
Guy that's collected belts, and Tank has been a guy that's not collected belts, but he's right now the top dog. Like, how important are those belts for you?
Honestly, I'm glad that I did everything that I done already, but like now it's like I get like where like Tank's side is coming from. Like I could see where he's the biggest superstar in boxing. He's making the most money. Like why would you pay for 4 belts? Like why would you go pay for 4 belts when you could have all that money to yourself? So that's how I see it. But I mean, you know, the belts do matter. I think that you should at least be like, you know, get like 2 belts and, you know, they matter. Yeah, only thing I just don't like paying for belts that we earn. I don't like that.
Yeah.
Like I don't like paying money out my pocket for something that I earned. Like I'm earning it. I'm getting in the ring and doing all the hard work. So I think if they change that, I would like be like, okay, yeah.
Yeah, but then they wouldn't exist. They wouldn't be at these. You ever see these WBC conventions? Guys ever go to one? It's the most extravagant thing I've ever seen in the world.
They should be paying us, honestly.
And like, I'm like, where the hell do they get this money? Oh, that's right. They've been charging 3% on fighters for freaking 50, 60 years. No wonder they can hold these massive events in Cancun and all that. Look at me, like, it's crazy, man. That's the one part of this fight with Tank and Ryan that there's a lot of elements of the fight that I like.
So there y'all heard it, you know, Shakur, he can't be trilled. He said he ain't like the fact that it was one elite level fighter giving Gervonta Davis his props, telling y'all that, yeah, Tank is an elite level fighter, giving him his props, but he said he didn't like the fact that it was one elite fighter fighting another fighter that you know that wasn't on that level. It was just a lick. It was just a money grab. That's just what it was. But he wasn't hating. You know what I'm talking about? Because before y'all get up, man, everybody hating on Tank. He hating me. But Ryan Garcia, it is what it is. You know, they knew what they were getting into when they picked Ryan Garcia. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with it because at the end of the day, Ryan Garcia was still dangerous. You know what I'm saying? He was still dangerous. He still has the speed, the power, the knockout power. And I think that Ryan Garcia will go on to do great things in boxing if he has his mind right and if he get with the right trainer, right, that's going to make him stay focused and dedicated to the sport because he has the talent and that's for sure. Now, as far as him saying that, you know, the belts do matter, but he kind of see now that they really don't matter. I feel Shakur Stevenson, right? Now, the belts do matter because that's what you fighting for. You should, but the thing is in boxing now, they got all these watered down belts. You don't know who the real champion is. They just watered the sport down with all these belts and these sanctioning bodies. They all crooked. You know what I'm saying? They all crooked. They run it like the mob. They all crooked. All it is about money. And so he's like, why am I paying for something that I earned? So I feel Gervonta Davis when he like, I don't want to fight for them belts. Why am I going to fight for belts where I got to pay you when I could just have big fights without the belts and pocket all the money? So I feel that. Like Devin Haney, he paying 4 different sanctioning fees right now. No telling how much of money that they taking out of Devin Haney's pocket. And that ain't right. It's wrong. It shouldn't be like that. You know what I'm talking about? And you heard Chris Algieri, he said, look, you go to these WBC events and they're extravagant. They got the best of foods, the best of drinks, the best of everything. Where they getting the money from? Oh yeah, they getting the money from all of the fighters. They exploiting the fighters. That's what they doing. So I feel when Tank say that, I don't need to fight for them belts. I don't want to fight for them belts. I feel when Ryan Garcia say, yeah, we don't need to fight for them belts. F them belts. And to me, right, personally, how I grew up in boxing, belts, they're supposed to symbolize the best fighting the best. But do they do that now? No. You got a vacant title over here, a guy that you never heard of fighting another guy that you never heard of for a vacant title, or you got a guy that's on the A level fighting a guy that you never heard of for a vacant title. So right now, the question is, do the belts really matter? Do the belts symbolize what they used to in boxing? I'm gonna let y'all answer that. Y'all smash my like button. Drop a comment in my comment section. I want to hear y'all comments on this whole thing. How do y'all feel about what Shakur Stevenson had to say about Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia? And how do y'all feel about this whole belt situation? I want to hear from y'all. Make sure that you hit my like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subbed to the channel. And y'all already know how I do. There you go, talking that boxing again. And I'm gone. It's hater me, chalkboard material, get it, then fuck.